I don't know if it's gonna actually. You know what? I think we got hacked.
What?
The Geek EZ password was not working. I had to reset it on YouTube.
No shit.
Yep. It says, "What's the last password you remember?" And it was the password that it should have been. And it's like, "Oh, okay, here you go. Reset it." So it's been reset, but I think we got a hack.
What did you do, Jim?
Wasn't me.
I don't understand why anybody would do that anyway, though. I mean, what do they expect to gain?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not like we, have money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yet. Really.
We're working on it. I'm working on it.
So,
but
out of curiosity,
with this whole week, it's been back to school week, so it's been crazy at my house, and I got kindergartners going for the first time, and all this kind of craziness. And I've been working, and I'm trying to keep up with stuff, and I have no idea what's going on in the geek world at all, aside from what I just talked about 5 minutes ago. That I will be sharing. We're going to be sharing that on the show, because I want people to see these things.
Well, we do have, even though Alistair will not be present, we do have something that was brought up, so we got a little bit.
Oh, we got bits. We got bits and bits, and we got an update from Jim on his little venture.
And I got back from Gen Con.
And we just got back from Disney, and I want to tell you guys about the new Avatar attraction. Holy shit.
And there's our rating.
But that's why we
haven't even
nice
gone on
disclaimer.
air yet.
No, we're on air.
See?
Oh, we are?
Oh, yeah.
We're live.
Well, I'm telling you.
Hi, people.
Oh, my God.
Well, we will hear about all of this in 60 seconds or so, right after this. And this is where the disclaimer comes into play.
The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. The opinions expressed do not reflect this station or any affiliated partners.
See, he said so right there.
Is advised.
He did.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Geek EZ.
Just talking? Well, what's the show about? It's about nothing.
All right. Well, some breaking news that I think we should jump right into this right off the bat because it's still irking me, and I want to get this off my chest. I don't know why it irks me so bad. I don't like them.
You shouldn't be wearing a bra then.
It really should, yeah.
Really? You don't like change?
Well, out with it, man.
Well, I don't like this. Let's see if I can bring up picture larger. Of course not, I can't. Oh, okay, it's better than nothing. But I'm going to share this. Once I get this working. Here we go.
Well, you may want to explain it for the viewing impaired.
Okay, well, this is the first official look at the ATM-6, the First Order Walker from The Last Jedi, and I can say I don't like it.
Saber-tooth gorilla.
You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, it was broke. I mean, they tripped the original.
Yeah.
Well, I get that, but engineers, they always love to change things, you know.
Flipping the foot in the front makes no sense.
No, the foot doesn't actually flip.
It doesn't matter. There's no engineering sense to the shape of that foot, that front leg.
Honestly, you want to know what that's just honestly reminding me of? Igor, answer the door.
Yeah, it's like a hunch. It's a knuckle dragon hunchback.
Yes, master. Yes, master.
Yes, master.
It's like a buck-toothed walker.
I'm sorry, that's honestly all I see when I look at this.
Igor, why are you walking that way? You wanted to.
Maybe seeing it in motion will help. I don't.
Well, maybe they made it.
It's because you're a cheapskate.
The big giant.
Wanting to pay for Igor's chiropractor.
Oh my god.
Ooh, wow.
You know, I'm quite a brilliant surgeon. I could fix that hum. What hum?
Oh, that's such a classic. Anyway.
I think the real problem is going to be how close together the legs are.
Yeah, I don't think that's any different from the original AT-AT. I'm willing to bet, though, it probably has something to keep you from tripping it. Like, that armor there might slide up or something to cut wires.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, obviously we don't know because we don't have anything to go off of, but...
Just from the looks of it, you're right. I see it loping along like some kind of grape. It just is weird.
Yeah, the whole... I mean, I realized the original AT-ATs had a very Cylon-esque look to them, but that is a Cylon. When you look at it, that's a new BSG Cylon.
It's very front-heavy looking to me.
Yeah.
It actually looks like it'd be easier to trip.
I was going to say, is that an antenna that I see jutting out?
Nope. That's a big cannon.
Big old honking gun.
That's lots of DACA right there.
That's an M6 phase cannon is what that is.
You're just making it up now.
Now, on a side...
No, I read the article. That goes along.
What's weird is the rear legs are the same as on the original, pretty much.
Yes. Height and position. It's like a lumbering... I don't know. I don't understand where the logic is doing that.
I know what it reminds me of.
It's a behemoth.
From the Dark Crystal. The thing they ride in the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
It's a stretch, but I see it.
Yeah. Striders.
I want to see
like a Strider.
I got to see what it looks like.
That's just weird.
Whatever happened to the Dark Crystal Netflix series? Is that still happening?
I don't know, actually.
I thought it was.
Oh, okay. But side note, just to throw this in, I don't know if it's out there right now in the Ethernets and stuff like that, in the interwebs. Adiwan, who was doing the Star Wars Revisited re-edits of the original trilogy, finished The Empire Strikes Back. And
Yay.
And
what?
He did an awesome job. He did an awesome job with A New Hope. To be perfectly honest, some of the things that he altered in The Empire Strikes Back are, in my opinion, completely unnecessary, and a lot of them are jarring because they don't mesh as well as some of the stuff he did for A New Hope. But he did some stuff with the Walker scene where it works, and some other stuff that doesn't. But I think one of the biggest ones is the addition of a lot more AT-STs, and the little humor involved of that he threw in. There's a scene where Luke throws the grenade into the thing and explodes. In the background in the original, as Luke hits the ground, an AT-ST can be seen walking by, but it disappears in the next shot because it technically should be right next to the AT-AT. Adiwan puts it back in there, AT-AT's head explodes, AT-AT topples over, AT-ST looks up like a child about to get stomped, and it lands on the AT-ST and crushes it. So he did a really good job with some of the stuff. Other things, it's not too bad. But, I mean, it's floating around out there. It's on the torrents. I'm pretty sure that it's a few other places right now. It's a large file download. It's like 7 gigs. And it's very strict. He says, you're not allowed to watch this or download it or do anything unless you own Star Wars. I mean, it's still it's a legal gray line. Lucasfilm hasn't come after him yet, and no one's done a DCMA or whatever it is, so we'll see what happens.
Yay, for me, I actually have, unfortunately, it's the special editions, but
Yes.
I have them on video.
But I have seen it. And
Yay, gray area for me.
yes, I have seen it. It's a great, I mean, again, most fan edits, they are copyright infringement, no matter how you look at it. It's still a gray area, though, until someone comes right out and says you can't do this. It's out there. I'm not telling you how to find it. You need to go do that yourself. But some of the stuff is pretty. But the AT-AT scene, this reminded me of the toppling over, because this does look easier to topple over due to top heaviness.
That sounds like a hilarious sequence.
It really is. He really did a good job with it, because it really does look like it looks up to see the AT-AT falling on it, and you can almost, it's like a Wile E. Coyote. You wait for the little sign that says, "Oh dear." It's very well done. Some of the other stuff, like I said, very unnecessary.
It'd be in Arabic, so we couldn't read it.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
But yeah, back to this. Now, should I bring up a shot of the other thing, the Star Destroyer?
Yeah.
The slice of pizza?
Yeah,
sure.
let me see if I can find that real quick. Oh, I have it. I just gotta bring it up. And there it is. It's huge.
Oh, it's enormous.
It's bigger than an Imperial Star Destroyer. Arguably, almost the size of a Super, or it's bigger than a Super. It depends on which source you go by.
Well, the original Star Destroyer, the one from the Force Awakens, is bigger than a regular Star Destroyer. The Imperial class.
This one's what, 7 kilometers? That's crazy.
Yeah, this thing's freaking huge.
Well, now this thing is bigger than an Imperial Star Destroyer by far, but it's not. If go by the regular references, most references seem to agree that a Super Star Destroyer, an Executor is like 11 kilometers, whereas an Imp Star is about 1,600.
I don't like the flatness.
Freaking ship's too long. If I walked, the movie'd be over.
I just don't like how flat it is. They made almost no attempt to retain that Star Destroyer shape.
Yeah.
And you don't have anything to... You don't have anything to provide angles of fire for your weapons.
Yeah, and there's no scale. The lack of any detailing, like Wolfie was saying, the scale is lost. This doesn't use... Like, you look at it, that's not 7 kilometers. I guess when you see it next to another Star Destroyer, you'll see it, but...
It fell into a trash compactor.
Who shared these that I saw? Oh, it was Tobias Richter shared this, and I have to agree with him. He's like, what the heck is going on with Star Wars design? With the extra greeble TIE fighters, which I can understand, and then the opposite paint job, which I still don't understand that, even though it looks cool. But now we're getting to territory where it's like, what?
Well, I understand the opposite paint job. It's harder to see them against the blackness of space.
Sure.
So it lends a little extra stealth. They're harder to hit, I would imagine, when you can't see them to turn around and lock in on them, I imagine. So that's an interesting idea, but this Star Destroyer is just plain awful.
I'm going to say this.
I don't
right
like
out.
it at all. I just
realize
do not like it.
It's obvious this is a male spaceship. It has a penis.
Yes, it does.
It has the biggest dickus of them all.
Seriously, this ship has a penis, and again, I have to ask, what the hell?
Well, Disney, they slip that in wherever they can. Pun intended.
But Tish.
What's The Last Jedi about? Well, the First Order starts screwing the resistance.
No, sir, I don't like it.
Well, hopefully my lack of liking the designs will not take away from the story. I am really, really getting concerned, though, that we are going to see a lot of rehash of Empire.
Probably not.
All right.
No.
Yeah, I got my fingers crossed.
I'm worried about the porgs.
Well, Think about what we got with Empire. Star Wars, we had the bare minimal, or the New Hope. It was the bare minimal Star Wars. We had Star Destroyers, a Death Star, X-wings, and TIE fighters, and Y-wings.
That was plenty.
And then Empire had to up it, so we got the Super Star Destroyer and the Walkers and the Rebel Snowspeeders and Bespin. I mean, and all the design started getting bigger and bigger, and the universe got bigger. Now we're into the second film of the third trilogy. First one gave us the new start of the Resurgent. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
The Resurgent class, and then we got the new TIE fighters and the new X-wings, kind of like A New Hope. And now we have the second in that trilogy, and we've got Walkers and a new Star Destroyer. And I'm like, okay, you're really starting to freak me out. Ugh. And I don't like Kylo Ren. The more I look at it, I don't like his TIE fighter. I don't like the. I mean, I am usually one who really likes hard edges and squares and stuff like that. That's my aesthetic. I really, when it comes to design, for me, I like a very clean edge. There's way too much clean going on. I don't know.
Well, if you like that kind of design, go to our private chat and pull up those pictures I posted of the shuttle I just finished building for my thing.
I did see that. Do you want me to bring those up?
Yeah, sure. Throw them up there, man.
Give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. Do you need a topic?
Well, let's see. I can mention about Reaper while we're waiting on that.
Anybody watch the DuckTales premiere?
Nope.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So, quick cover on this. The Reaper Miniatures Kickstarter has 9 days to go, and it's at $1.6 million. It's about to jump up about 100, almost 160.
For real, man?
Well, I'm not buying all of it.
Yes, he is.
No, I'm not. I'm buying the Chronoscope set, and that's it. Whereas a buddy of mine wanted to get Chronoscope and Dreadmere. So, $160. They're $50 a piece for those two sections. It's $100 for the core, which gives you just a load of characters or minis to work with if you wanted it.
It seems like a lot of money to me.
Actually, this is a sweet deal because it costs more individually, to pick out them individually and make them into a big bundle than it does to just buy this.
Well, yeah, that's always the case, though. That's how they get you. They sink the hook in a package deal, and then they reel you in. Just saying.
Considering you're getting 113 miniatures for $100, no, this is a good deal.
That's a lot of miniatures.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I can't argue with that. It just, when I look at the dollar amount, I always go, and then I weigh the gotta haves against the wanna haves, and the gotta haves tend to win. So,
well, this is useful for us because both of us actually GM games, and he GMs a Witch Hunter game. The Dreadmere stuff fits perfectly in that setting, and I GM, sci-fi stuff, and the Chronoscape fits perfectly that. So I'm only spending $50. He's the one spending more.
Well, I look at it this way: if your pleasure level is high from the purchase, then it was money well spent. End of story. Dead air.
No, I was just looking at the reward stuff here. Because the way to do it, you have to go... You first set your pledge in Kickstarter. Then you actually have to manage the pledge through through Reaper's site. And that's how you actually can pick out which pieces that you want. That way you're not spending too much.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's actually quite handy because otherwise you could be stuck buying an entire core set. And it's like, well, I don't want the core set. I wanted just this part. Well, you can only spend $50 on that part. Click the thing for it, and boom, you're good to go.
So it's sort of a la carte, but not exactly.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Tank, you got a link for any of that stuff?
Give me
so we might post it in the chat?
And there's a storm moving in over my area.
Oh, of course, it's Wednesday.
Of course, it's Wednesday. Yeah.
I hate to circle back to Star Wars, but man, when I see the Praetorian Guard, all I can think of is Riker and his dad. An Anbo Jitsu match.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that design either. What are they
For some
over
reason,
there?
they remind me of the Flash Gordon movie from the 80s. I don't know
But
why.
that was intentionally cheesy.
Yes, I know. It's either Flash Gordon or the Buck Rogers series from the same time period.
No, but that picture of the Praetorian Guard, all I see is Riker and his dad doing Anbo Jitsu.
I don't know. They look like something out of The Last Starfighter to me.
Yeah.
I like The Last Starfighter, though it's dated now.
Well, they need to remake that. If they're going to remake anything, they need to remake that. And they have to cast Shatner as Centauri.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
What?
What?
No, just, oh, my God. Shatner would be amazing as Centauri.
Hey, he's playing Two-Face in the new cartoon.
Yeah, the new Adam West.
Yes.
Last Adam West.
They're doing
Batman
another.
movie.
They're doing another Batman 60, or they did another Batman 66 cartoon, and before Adam West's death, he and Burt Ward did the voices for Batman and Robin, and William Shatner playing Harvey Dent / Two-Face.
Nice.
Yeah, Harvey Two-Face Dent.
Now, help me out here, because I'm not up on this like I should be, but is that going to air somewhere, or is that
No,
something...
it's straight to Blu-ray.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, actually, when did they introduce Two-Face into the comics? Was it the 80s?
No, Two-Face has been around...
Oh, no, he goes way back, yeah.
I'm trying to think. Hold on, I can look it up. Or someone else can look it up.
The only reason I ask is because the only reason I know of Two-Face is from Batman 92.
Yeah, that's kind of where I got my introduction to him.
He was introduced in August of 1942.
Yep, way back. That's what I thought.
Yeah, he was actually used a lot more than the Joker.
I hate to loop back to Star Wars, but
We're stuck in a time loop, folks.
has anybody else gotten a Gary Oldman in Dracula feeling off of the Leia pictures?
Yeah.
So it's not just me.
Nope, not just you.
No, you should have just answered with just you, Wolfie.
It's not just you. I caught that too. And then when I see Snoke, that's all I think is vampire. It's like, yeah, he's a vampire.
Blah.
With a vagina neck. I don't understand the big hole in his neck, but okay, he's got a stoma.
Well, he used to smoke in his youth, and...
From his neck.
Yeah.
Things went downhill.
Boy,
For,
there's a nasty
for our
image
watcher
right there.
in YouTube, there's the link to the Reaper figure that Tank was talking. But where are we at? What are we doing? Oh, Jim wanted to show his stuff. I mean, well, let's jump right into that since we're a half hour into our hour-long show.
Yeah, we gotta pick up the pace. We're not
Gotta
used to
pick up
this.
the pace.
Yep, okay, hurry up.
Shut up.
Speaking of Greebles and bottles and things like that and spaceships.
So I've been working all week on getting this model built because we've got a shoot coming up where we have a sequence that occurs outside of a star base, where Captain Cage is being picked up by our first officer, and we're going to do some old style trick photography where you set the model in the foreground, line the camera up, set it to infinity, and put all of your actors far enough back that they look they're in scale with the model.
Yes.
And take a master shot, like with everyone walking around the ship. So that's what that model is for mainly. I'm going to try to play around with some green screen shots of it and see if we can't take some of the pressure off Henry Gibbons, our CGI guy. But I would love some feedback on this model. I really would. People like it.
Well, my feedback is this is what you get when a Sith interceptor mates with a Star Trek shuttle.
I was thinking more Battlestar Galactica 78.
It does have that aspect to it as well.
Well, I'm trying to pay homage to a number of different design ethics all at once.
Keep in mind, I'm not knocking it, by the way.
I hear that you're not knocking it. You're seeing it the way I intended it to be seen, which is really cool. That pleases me greatly. But what I'm saying is, what do you think about the split ring drive on the back? That's a quantum split ring drive. And
so
that's
it's faster than light capable.
It is, or it can be. That's basically kind of the standard issue star drive that goes on pretty much all the vessels in our particular universe.
It can be, as long as you don't set the bottle rocket off too many times. Oh wait, we're talking about in character, in universe, not the model. We don't want to destroy the model. Looks like a lot of work went into that.
It's really cool.
Yeah, a whole week of work went into that sucker. So
now
Totally from scratch.
I don't know whether you did this intentionally, but a lot of people who do spaceship designs and things like that don't take into account that inside the spaceship there is heat generated by the friction from moving parts and things like that. You have heat sinks on this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
That's pretty cool.
And Firefly, if you were going with Star Wars parlance, you're 100% correct. It would be an ugly. An ugly being that you basically slap two ships that are completely different from each other together to make a ugly ship, which can give you a wide variety of abilities. Some of them good, some of them bad. Usually, bad.
Yep. But that's okay.
It does make for unique looks.
The only pretty ship going to be the Challenger because it's like the latest technology, the best, the newest. Cage gets like new ship of the fleet because of her heroics in a certain occurrence that happens in the pilot episode. So I don't want to spoil the story, but
that's not final paint job, is it?
No. I still got. I want to put some washes on it to pull out some of the detail, and it's still going to get some decals and stuff. Little triangular caution signs near the engines, maybe a caution stripe near the intakes, that kind of stuff.
The nose reminds me of the original Galactica's pontoons.
Yes,
that's what it is. That's what it is.
Sort of, yes. And I also wanted it to be a little reminiscent of the Seeker from, it was either Space Academy or Jason of Star Command, and I can't remember which one.
Oh, you're showing your age, dude.
Yeah, I know. But I want to honor as many things as I can so the people look at it and they feel at home when they see it, and they go, yeah, that looks familiar and cozy, and I'm happy with that. And that's what I'm kind of shooting for. But I dulled the color down because they used to paint everything titanium white. Everything would get painted titanium white, and so we're pulling away from that and going with something that seems to physically make a little more sense.
Well, they did that on purpose because you can light that against black velvet, and it would show up better.
Yeah, right. But now we're able to kind of get away from that a little bit. So a little of the old, a little of the new, and that's kind of what we're shooting for. Now we're hoping like in 3 or 4 weeks we can get that scene shot out, and then we're keeping an eye on when peak foliage season is going to be, and we've got a whole exciting, very actiony dirt bike sequence. You're going dirt bike sci-fi. Wait a minute. Well, trust me, this is going to be super cool. We've got a stunt guy to do all the bike work. And I've got a licensed drone pilot that's going to shoot about 9/10 of the footage. So it's going to be nice, smooth tracking shots on this guy as he catches all kinds of air and just rides as if the devil is chasing him. So we've got some really exciting stuff coming up.
Old school filmmaking.
Yep, guerrilla style. Well, I've got a friend I went to high school. He's got a big farm near me, grows the best sweet corn on the planet. Well, he's got tracts of land, and I was over there buying some corn from him last week, and I said, hey, you know what? You've got a lot of trails and roads on your property, and I'm working on this thing. And he was like, whatever you need, man. So so we've got all of this great terrain that we can play on. So we've got a zillion options for really cool photography. And with the drone, we can kind of showcase the beauty of Vermont itself. If we can get in there and the weather is favorable, and we can show, the beautiful foliage we have up here in the autumn. So,
wow. It's like two Monty Python references that went through my head just now.
I was thinking it too.
It's like huge tracts of land, and
Huge
it said
tracts of
beautiful
land.
foliage, and I went, beautiful plumage.
Beautiful.
The plumage has nothing to do with it. It's stone dead.
I got a question for you. Was there a reason you went with model instead of matte painting for an in-straight camera shot?
I just prefer models.
Okay, I was just asking because I've done.
Yeah.
I remember doing a couple back when I was in high school, just trying things out, and I did a model shot, and then I tried. I was like, let me try something, and I cheated, and I actually used a photograph of a Star Trek shuttle that happened to be in the right angle, and I super glued it to a piece of plexiglass, and I shot through the plexiglass.
Yep.
With some people to scale at the other side, and I made my friends step out of a Star Trek shuttlecraft. I was 17. I was like, well, that's how they did it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that can totally be done. I just like the fact that if I wanted to move the camera to this side or that side as we shoot that scene, then you need a 3D thing in front of the camera so that you can do that kind of a shot. So what we're going to do is and here's what the model will cover is we're going to have a whole ramp and platform set up so that they can go up the ramp, so it looks like they're going up a ramp and into the vessel. And when we're shooting what's called the ones and twos, the close up of the actors that are having a conversation before they get on board, we're going to set up a series of green screens so that we can then comp in later a CGI model kind of close up of the ship. And again, using our drone pilot, we'll do a liftoff sequence where we go straight up, looking straight down at the ground, and we're just going to lift off. And the building we're shooting near is my kid's high school. And that might sound kind of boring until you see this high school. It's when it was put up in 1970. It was a very experimental design for a high school. All of the buildings are round. So it looks like a whole bunch of pods landed in a field.
My community college was like that, but
they're all
since become a church.
They're all interconnected, and they're all these round buildings that are interconnected. And from the air, it just looks so cool. So I thought that's perfect for a starbase on an alien world. So.
Well, get to it, man.
Yes. Now, if the weather will play nice, we're good to go.
Hey, I got homework for anybody who out there listens to this.
Yeah.
I have noticed, and this is completely off the subject. This is something that just crossed my mind, and I've been thinking about it. I was going to talk to you guys about it too, but I'll just do it on the air. There are geeky websites out there. The Geek Tyrant, IO9. IO9 has become more political and scientific than, they still do the geeky stuff and popular culture stuff, but like Geek Tyrant, Den of Geek, and all of those. Now, comic book resources, they all have really well done articles. They actually do a lot of informational stuff, but every once in a while, there is the clickbaitiest, stupidest article where it was like obviously a slow news day, so someone's sitting there trying to come up with something to post an article because they have some kind of quota to meet or whatever it is, and it's the most ridiculous article ever. Whether it's poorly researched, because I've seen a whole lot of those, especially on comic book resources, for a website that says they're comic book based. These people don't seem to know comic books sometimes. But we're going to start looking for the dumbest one, and we're going to start handing out the dumbest web article award. I think we're gonna. I mean, because it's come to the point where it's like it's really funny because when we finally get our website up, we're not going to do this.
Would the Mary Sue win the Lifetime Achievement Award?
Oh dear Lord, we're not even going to touch them. I don't feel like getting into that fight. But the when I can guarantee this, when our website comes up, we won't have clickbaity articles. If it's something that we want to share or we find news or funny, it's just going to be that kind of stuff. We won't have 17 pages where you have to keep clicking to read the rest of the story. It'll be all on one shot. There it is. Boom. Well, people are like, "Oh, hey, you're gonna make money off of that and do ads." There'll be ads on the page. You're just not gonna have to go through 15 to find out what we're talking about.
Wait, but we're not going to do the 17 pages that we were going to originally do.
No. It'll be a pretty. I want it to be very straightforward, but some of the ridiculous things. I mean, I think this all came because I was reading one, I think on Geek Tyrant, that made me go, "What? Really? What?" And from there on out, it just kind of grew in my head. It's like, yeah, we need to find the dumbest one, and we'll share it. Every week, we'll find the dumbest one because I have a list of sites I go to every day, and I'm going to start bookmarking the ones I find ridiculous. And I'll share it with you guys before we go on the air. But yeah.
15 reasons why Leia's hair is weird. You know, I mean, come on.
Is that Comic Book Resources does the 15 reasons?
I'm not sure, but you see that all the time.
I think it's Comic Book. It's the 15. I mean, their fascination with the number 15. I don't understand. 15.
I think they got that from Cracked.
15 reasons why. 15 reasons why your website sucks.
Although in the case of Crack, they usually keep it down to 5 or 6.
Yeah.
They do more than that when they're doing
Let's
photoplasty.
see on the front page of CBR right now, 15 superheroes with the worst love lives.
Exactly. Who cares? Slow News Day?
Slow News Day.
What was the other one? Was it 15 of the sexiest X-Men?
I think I've seen that one floating around.
Yeah.
I admit, I looked at it because, all right, I'm curious.
Wait. Firefly in the chat. It's been argued that Rey is the one or one?
Is one.
Is one. Someone even theorized she's a forced wound?
Yeah, I know what they're referring to.
What?
In the Knights of the Old Republic 2, they actually opened up the concept of a force wound, someone who actually doesn't have the force, and because they've basically cut themselves off from the force, and they become a wound in the force.
Oh.
And eventually, through the course of the game, you pick up more and more companions and such, and your abilities with the force grows. It's because you're actually drawing from others' force power, or something like that. It's been a while since I played the game.
Oh, okay. Firefly's correct in making sure I knew it. One being a Mary Sue, and she was very Mary Sue-ish. Really was.
Because she could do anything.
But if you're gonna do that, well, so was Luke.
Luke was Gary.
Yeah.
And Finn, actually, if you think about it, was a bit Gary Stew.
And any of the ones that are complete Gary Stews, it's Poe Dameron.
Oh, yeah.
Complete. I mean, Ace Pilot 12 times over in one scene. Yeah.
I'm still of the opinion that he's actually force sensitive. They just haven't revealed anything to that effect, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
Changing topics.
Topics changed.
No.
NetherRealm actually announced new Fighter Pack 2 for Injustice 2 yesterday, it looks like.
Hellboy's coming.
Hellboy, Black Manta, and everyone's favorite Mortal Kombat character, besides Scorpion.
You had to be Hellboy.
Yeah, Hellboy's going to be part of the... How did they get Hellboy?
Didn't he... Actually...
I don't know.
I'm trying to think. It's... Hellboy...
Raiden I can understand, but...
Yeah, Raiden, yeah.
But he's a completely different comic book company.
You woke the baby.
Well, who officially owns Hellboy? Is it Dark Horse?
Is Dark Horse? I don't know actually.
I'm not sure who owns Hellboy, but frankly, the guy who created it and such. He quit.
Mike McNulty,
so,
right?
Yeah, I think so. He quit. So maybe it's just at this point it's licensing. Money.
Oh yeah, money. Let's
Yeah,
squeeze
I'm
this for as much. Hey, you know.
Well, it's possible if they already had the license to make a Hellboy game that they have control of the character in the video game realm.
True. Licenses are weird that way.
Okay, so Hellboy is Dark Horse.
Yep, just saw that.
But I'm trying to think, didn't they get bought out by DC? Or are they still
Dark
their
Horse?
own?
No.
Dark Horse is still on their own.
Yeah, they're on their own.
Okay.
Aren't they going to do another Hellboy picture?
I was just going to say this. They're doing
it's an R-rated Hellboy.
It's completely a reboot. They're not going to go back and use any of the stuff we've seen before. And
that's why I say
that moment, when I heard that, I was like, and you just lost 90% of the people who are going to go see your movie.
Yep.
It's not one of the big pictures. That's not Hellboy's thing. It just hasn't been. It's always been more of the smaller cult film, as it were.
Yes.
And it's worked well in it.
And they were good movies. Ron Perlman was excellent in that role.
Fun. Well, apparently this new guy that's going to play Hellboy is Ron Perlman approved. So
yeah, but either way. And I'm not. I mean, I don't care that Del Toro's not involved, but he took.
Well, he's making Pacific Rim 2.
That's going to be fun.
Speaking of giant CG movies, Jim, you wrote on something at Disney World.
Oh God! Oh my God! So the whole family, we went down to Disney World. We did 4 days and 3 parks. And the highlight for all of us was the new Avatar section of Animal Kingdom. You walk into this place, and there's always that spot where you can stand and get that major photo op, right?
Yeah.
You've got the floating rocks. You've got all of the topography, and it's constructed in the most amazing force perspective I have ever seen in my life. It looks like you're looking 10 to 15 miles out over this terrain, and it just gets smaller and smaller. And the way they painted this thing, you know how colors will fade the farther away a thing gets?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did that to it, and way at the top of this mountain, as far back as you can see, is a waterfall. And the motion in which it is falling, it can't be real water because this thing would have to be 150 feet high, and there's no way. So it's got to be some kind of mechanical way that they've accomplished this effect. But there's this waterfall. It looks like it's dropping a half a mile or more down the side of this mountain. So you get to walk through all of this terrain and all of these alien plants, which at night the whole place goes bioluminescent, which is really cool. We hung out so that we could see it at night. It's just astoundingly beautiful. So you walk through all this terrain, and you get in queue for Flight of Passage, which is one of the 2 major rides that are there. The other one is a river ride through the jungles of Pandora. But Flight of Passage is amazing. You go through this long queue where you go through a Na'vi cave that's filled with their cave paintings and their artifacts and stuff, and it looks like everything's been abandoned. A lot of the human stuff that's been left behind has fallen into disrepair, but as you get deeper into the complex, you find some of the labs that have been abandoned and some of their experiments are now running amok. And then you discover that someone has been studying the Na'vi and these creatures that they fly on. And so they scan you and create an avatar for you, which they will then project you onto, and you fly on the back of a banshee. So you get into this one room, and you climb onto this thing that's like getting onto a crotch rocket. And you slide in real tight, and these braces come up against your back and the backs of your legs to hold you in place. And you've got like what looks like a big blast door in front of you, and they put these glasses on you. and suddenly the glasses just light up and you're blinded for a second, and suddenly you are on the back of a banshee. And the wind is blowing in your face, and you go down the side of a cliff and across the ocean, and the ocean spray comes up in your face, and it is the most astounding thing I have ever experienced.
Astounding.
I mean, we were literally crying afterwards. It was the most moving experience we've ever had on a themed ride in our lives. Unfrickin' believable. Unbelievable.
It is so sad that they had to use a crappy movie to make such a great ride.
Oh, they made up for the crappy movie, dude, because it was one of the most exhilarating things I've ever experienced in my life. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I can't say crappy movie because I did go see it, but it was not. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, dude,
It's not memorable.
It was Pocahontas in space.
But there was such potential there.
Well, hopefully he'll make up for it with the next. He's planning what, 6 more pictures?
Yeah, 25 years apart.
Holy crap! But this thing was amazing. Now, if you go to YouTube and you dig around, you can find Flight of Passage point of view video. So it's someone wearing a GoPro, and it doesn't even begin to do it justice.
The painting side of it, I know 3 or 4 people that did the painting, that did some of the painting on that ride and the theming on that, and they are incredible painters. I mean, I've known them for years, and they do really good work. And one of them has actually risen through the ranks at Disney pretty quickly.
No, you never do when you're working for Mauschwitz. It just doesn't work for you. And I trained under a few former Imagineers, and yeah, they don't make it easy.
They don't.
They really don't. It's art production at its worst. It's a horrible job to have.
But the animatronics that I saw.
Sorry, Disney.
The animatronics that I saw on YouTube and floating around, Disney has outdone themselves with realism that they have pulled out of the animatronics. That it's like, whoa, that thing is actually alive. That's freaking me out.
When you're going through the labs, they've got a Navi avatar in a tube floating there waiting to be used. And it's beautiful. It's great. I can't remember the guy's name. It's his avatar, the lead in the film. It's his avatar. Oh, it's beautiful. It looks completely alive. It looks it's right there for you to look at.
Jake.
Jake.
I think that was his.
Yeah, Jake Sully. So it's floating in a tube of liquid, and there it is. It's just incredible looking. But that ride, if the queue hadn't taken an hour and a half to get through, I would have gone right around and done it again.
They need to do something. Well, they're doing Star Wars Land, so we'll see what happens. So they say Star Wars Land will be completely immersive.
That's what they're saying. And the thing is, with any new Disney theme park, I always recommend wait a year for them to shake out the bugs.
Yep.
I mean, if you can't stand it and you got to go. What the hell? But me, I like to wait at least a year before I go and check out a park. Now, I got to go to Animal Kingdom. Just open. They had been open just several months, and all of the plantings were still fresh. All of the greenery had just been put in. All the trees had been moved in and planted. And now to go back over a decade later, of course, Florida's got this subtropical to tropical kind of zone going on, and everything had gone wild. I mean, if you're looking for a park that is nothing but shade, go to Animal Kingdom. You'll enjoy yourself. And
Animal Kingdom, the ambiance in Animal Kingdom is really nice.
Oh my God, it's just beautiful, and the Everstride was off the chain fun. Oh my gosh!
Well, out of curiosity, Jim.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy your daily 4:00 rain shower?
That's because Disney control. You don't know Disney controls the weather?
He made a pact with God, man, about the weather, but We had one afternoon we were over in Epcot, and it did rain, but we got lucky in that just as the sky began to unzip, we were going into the German beer garden in the World Showcase to have dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So while we were in there eating and enjoying the entertainment, it poured like mad, and by the time we came out, it was over with. So
I used to live in Florida. I'm all too familiar during hurricane season.
Here's another thing that cracked me up: selling beer everywhere in the World Showcase.
Oh yeah, from all over the world,
everywhere. So we go into the German beer hall, and I ordered. They said, "Do you want a regular or a large?" I said, "We'll go big or go home." So they dropped this thing in front of me. I said, "Are there glasses to go with this pitcher?"
There's a gallon of beer.
Oh my God! They dropped this thing in front of me. I figured I'd have to crawl out of there. I didn't even get a buzz.
It's because it's watered down, dude.
I don't know what. Well, it tasted delicious. It was really good beer. I thought, man, I'm just gonna get hammered.
You have to go down for the Food and Wine Festival.
Nothing.
They have beer carts scattered around. Literally, they have beer from every corner of the earth. And I, of course, when I was going, I would go every year, and I would have to stop in Germany, and because they would bring out more beers from Germany. Be like, I need that, I need that, I need that, I need that, and then I'd go over to Australia. I'd be like, I need that, I need that, I need that. So I mean, it was like 12 or 15 beers later. I mean, they're only 8-ounce cups, but
12 or 15 beers later, you're feeling very German.
I'm feeling really good right now. Well, I understand why Disney does that, though. They don't want a whole mess of slobbering drunks staggering all over the park. Now, the big difference between Disney and Universal, you go to Fright Nights at Universal, and they meet you at the gate with vendors just handing out beer, man.
Yep.
And
Jello
you're gonna
shots
need this.
and you name it.
Jello shots, you name it, and they don't water that stuff down.
Nope.
Woo!
You need this to get through the fright.
You know what's really funny though? There's a problem that people they can't separate being scared from being disgusted. Halloween Horror Nights there were a couple of scary things from the couple of times I went, but 90% of it was just gore for the sake of gore.
Yeah.
And that's not scary.
No.
It's disgusting, but it's not scary.
No, I used to go in the early days, but now, forget it. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't bother. It's gotten worse, and of course, because they don't water the beer down, you do have a lot of drunk a-holes staggering around being troublesome. And I don't want to subject myself to that silliness, so I avoid those things.
It gives me
like
something
the
to look
plague.
forward to when I go down next year, because I'm planning. We've got to make the trip with the kid.
Well,
Star Wars Land will be open, so.
Oh yeah, but you got to check out Avatar. I mean, that forced perspective construction that they did is just insane.
We'll definitely have to check it out.
I mean, my jaw hit my chest, and look, I've built these things, and my jaw hit my chest. I went, oh my God, look at this. This is, and my wife and kids were like, whoa. And they know the deal too, because, Daddy does this kind of work. But
speaking of construction stuff, building things and whatnots.
Yeah.
So, this past weekend was Gen Con weekend.
Yes.
And I was directed to go find a specific person there, and I did find her. Let me drop that link here on the Twitch, and someone can drop it on the YouTube.
Oh, yeah, I saw that picture.
And I believe she might be from Quebec.
Hello.
Oh, Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's a gorgeous woman.
Yes, she is.
She's also very smart, really knows her stuff. I think, Adam, you'd get a kick out of talking with her, because she's been working for Ninja Division, the game company, for about 6 years, and apparently they work with her a lot, and they say, hey, we want you to build, this, or we want you to do this, and they proceed, they fund her to do it, and she actually designs it, builds it. She'll 3D print stuff. I mean, I don't know if I sent you guys the second photo I took with her, because I saw her on Saturday. But she actually had a staff that stood taller than me, and she 3D printed the entire thing in pieces. And she sanded it down, so all the stepping was gone. You couldn't tell it had been 3D printed.
Nice.
She's very, very good.
Well, didn't you also say something about the corset?
The corset.
Corset?
Oh, okay. That's like I'm corset. I'm thinking, Reaper. I'm like, wait a minute, why did we jump that far back? Yes. So there was a bra piece that for that particular outfit that she also 3D printed. She specifically said, though, I made sure to do those in pieces because I didn't want to kill myself. It's like, that's a fair point. I don't think I'd want to do that too. You put it on, and next thing you know, you can't breathe.
Well, now you got me wondering if she's going to show up at the Vermont Comic-Con here this coming weekend.
I don't know.
The weekend here is just full of all kinds of crazy stuff. We've got the Champlain Valley Exposition opening up with all the wonderful throw-up rides and the smell of horse poo.
She might not.
And we've got the Comic-Con, which is always a good time. And then we've got Trek Condoroga. And
I don't know. She might go to the Comic-Con. Actually, if you go to the Facebook page there's two pictures. She designed and 3D printed that sword. That was a prize that Ninja Division gave to a one lucky player.
Oh.
And the staff that she's holding there in one of the pictures is the staff I was talking about.
Looking.
Yeah, everybody zoom in. You zoomed in too far.
We've got this one group from...
Or not just enough.
We've got this one group from Quebec that always comes down to the Comic-Con here that they do the real X-Men as they appeared in the comic book. And they're really cool. I mean, they do a super job with their costumes and stuff.
Yeah, so looking at the stuff, the custom sword is based on a design by Ninja Division, 3D modeled by Texelan, I think is how you pronounce it. And he's on DeviantArt. It's 3D printed, molded, and casted in smooth-on, smooth-cast 305 with aluminum powder for the blade and brass powder for the guards and pommel. This girl knows her stuff.
Yep.
Nice.
And
does it right.
And she is more than willing to do an interview with us.
Ooh, we will definitely have to do that. We'll have to get her on the show.
Sweet, yeah.
Yeah, she's totally down for that, and I've got actually several cards stuff, and we can discuss this off the show because we're just about to the end of our show.
Let's see, Jim, what's the setting time on 305? Do you remember? It's like 5 minutes. You don't have a lot of working time with that stuff.
Yeah, you got to move.
Wow.
You really got to move with that stuff.
That's impressive.
Oh, it's tricky. It's tricky, and it takes a lot of practice to work with that stuff. I use a lot of smooth-on product myself when I'm making things. And they make enough, and to anyone that's building these kind of things and knows how to make molds or wants to learn, Smooth-On has tutorials and everything like that. So there's a nice plug for Smooth-On, but their stuff is outstanding.
You know what's cool?
I swear by it.
You know what's cool about her? And because when you posted the stuff, I went looking. She's not a cosplayer out for the aspect of cosplay, that look at me cosplay.
Even though the outfit designs do.
Yes, even though the outfit designs are very that way.
Oh, yeah.
She's a fabricator. I mean, she gets dirty, she builds. It's not like she just goes slap some leather together and straps them on and says, "Look at me."
No. And actually, she said she started off in actual modeling first, so she was a glamour model and fashion design. So that's what she started off with first. And then she kind of expanded into the cosplay stuff. And she said it took 3 years for the cosplay community, to accept her as being a serious costume designer. It's like, I've been a fashion designer, I've been doing it for years, and yet here we are. It takes 3 years for everybody to accept me. It's like, yeah, they're idiots.
Yep.
I'm pretty stoked about this weekend, though. Jody and have looked at all of the things that are going on this weekend, and we decided that we're going to go to Trek Condoroga.
Rock on.
Well, mainly because Walter Koenig and Shell Nichols are going to be there, and the way they do their con, you can get up there and talk to them and visit.
Then you should take that opportunity to be like, by the way, if we wanted to, I'm on the Geek EZ. If we wanted to get you on the show, who do I need to talk to?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what you need to do? You need to talk to Jim. James, yes, I would love to have James on here and just
I will talk to him
and just talk about all the cool stuff that he's done, how he got started. I want to talk about the Elvis stuff. How does one get into that?
I will talk to him about that. I definitely will. We've known James for years, so he called me up and he said, look, I would love for you guys to just come and be my guests. Can you come on down? Do you think? And I was like, are you kidding me? He was like, no, man, come on down. You'll be my guests. So done deal.
Is he gonna dress up like? Is he gonna dress up like a candelabra?
No, they're doing a fun thing. They start with a dinner. There's music, dancing, all of that kind of stuff. A bar, on the first night. So
all the colored marshmallows and Kool-Aid you can drink.
It's a mixer. It's a mixer, and it's really cool. And one of the things they're going to do, there's this goofy golf kind of place near there, and everyone's going to put on Star Trek uniforms, and they have like a nighttime golf where the holes light up and the balls light up, and so everyone's going to go and play miniature golf. Which I thought was hysterical. All of these Trekkie nerds out there in their uniforms playing miniature golf. How fun is that? That's just silly. I love that. This is the kind of fun they have at Trek Ticonderoga. He does a really nice job. And it seems like every year he's doubling his attendance from the previous year. He's expecting like 600 or more this year confirmed, and who knows who's going to just show up to be there. So it gets bigger and bigger every year. It's pretty cool.
Well,
and that includes the set tour and all of that, and so very cool.
It's this weekend?
Yeah, this weekend. He's got the Batmobile showing up and the Bat boat showing up to have a look at, take pictures with.
Wait,
a bunch of other stuff too. So,
you mean from Batman 60?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I've seen a few of those running around.
He tried to get the chariot from Lost in Space, but those guys want like an outrageous amount of money to show up. So it was like, if I'm going to spend that, I'm going to get Shatner, So
just fair. Well, speaking of bigger and bigger, just to wrap up the whole discussion with Gen Con was massive. All badges were sold out. They had nothing left. You could not buy badges to get in at the convention. You can even buy them online. They were all sold out. So that's the first time for the show.
Wow.
And this isn't the convention hall in Indianapolis is not small. Interestingly enough, it didn't seem all that crowded in the dealer room because that's where I spent pretty much all my time. I didn't do any of the event stuff. And it might be because of the fact that they actually used the entirety of the field of Lucas Oil Stadium as well. Now, one of the neat things, and I got pictures of this, is in the middle of Lucas Oil, they had a reproduction of the first Gen Con Hall, which was called Horticulture Hall, I think located in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. So that's where the Gen Con came from.
Ah.
And they had artifacts of the earlier Gen Con showings. So they had like the first Dungeons and Dragons and the first Civilization board game.
Wasn't this year like a big anniversary for Gen Con?
This was the 50th. So that's why it sold out. And they just had a whole lot of stuff. And interestingly enough, and we were discussing this on the way back, for as big as it was, we felt that in some respects it actually had less variety than it did when we first started about 10 years ago, when we first went there. Like, when we first went there, they had a big tournament area for card games, and you literally could get just a badge for the card area. That's all you were allowed to work in, to be in. You couldn't go into the dealer hall or anything like that. And there was more video game stuff available. Hell, they even had Star Wars Celebration 3 that year. And as time has gone on, obviously things change, and they shift around based on need. And in the dealer hall, when we first started, Wizards of the Coast had a huge presence, and so did a lot of the other big companies. Now, Wizards of the Coast was not there, period. We have no idea where they were. No presence whatsoever. The Gale Force 9 was a company that was providing sales for D&D stuff, and so was another one I can't think of. Fantasy Flight had a presence, thankfully, because I had questions that needed answered, and I got them answered. And Paizo, which makes Pathfinder, they also had a presence, but there was a lot more variety of the small indie game makers in the dealer hall versus the big companies. Mostly, and we think this might be because a lot of those guys are actually running their own stuff now, like their own little conventions, which is weird because Gen Con was created basically by Wizards of the Coast. Granted, originally TSR, but...
Did Fantasy Flight express surprise at what we had done?
Yeah. So the guy that I talked to answered the questions I needed, and I also said this, I said, this is what my players did, and this was the second roll, not the first one. He goes, that's a lot of dice that they rolled. It's like, yes, and they succeeded in doing a thing that probably should not have happened. He's like, well, that's the way the dice goes. So, yeah, there was that. But there wasn't much in the way of video game stuff, and almost no cards at all. No card games to speak of that were like collectible card games. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to be a big thing, and
didn't Fantasy
Pokemon.
Flight have some big demo for some samurai game or something?
No, not that I'm aware. There was a different company that did that, though.
I watched a video.
You mean Legend of the Five Rings?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wizards originally had that license for a little while.
Yeah, but Fantasy Flight picked it up this year. And they're making a card game out of it. I watched a video on it where they had the clans march up to the thing and everything.
Well, they may have been demoing stuff, and they did have several demos going on, but I didn't participate in that. They did show actual miniatures for Star Wars Legion. Did get some photos of that. Supposedly they come unpainted, but honestly, I don't know. I'm not buying into it because I already have enough minis as it is. Especially once I get the Reaper stuff. I just have a ton of X-Wing minis. We won't get into that. I don't have a problem. Whew, I'm good.
You're addicted, man.
Alistair is
I'm not addicted. I can
on
quit
us
at any
on
time.
Twitch.
Seek counseling.
Anyway, yeah, so we've ran across like Joking Hazard, which is the guys who may do Cyanide and Happiness.
I've got that game. It's hilarious.
We didn't speak to him. I didn't see him, unfortunately. We didn't get there the times that he was going to be there, where you could get like signed card decks and such, which is a shame. But I did speak to Scott Kurtz of PvP. That was cool because he does PvP and he also does Table Titans. So I did get other cards for some artists and definitely quite a few pictures. Also, there was another thing, I think, Adam, that you would really like. It's called Hearst Arts Castle Molds. And they're little molds. You can basically make your own walls and such for your like dungeonaries and such. And it's pretty much the exact same principle as what you would do if you were making a mold, except that in this case, as long as you only use like a water-based material, those molds will last forever.
Interesting.
Because I asked him about that. I was like, do these things deteriorate? And he said, no, as long as you're using like water-based plaster or something similar along those lines, it'll be fine. If you use anything alcohol-based, like for resin and such, yeah, it'll deteriorate.
Okay, I gotta check that out because I don't know any mold making material that will not deteriorate over time.
He said he's got like molds that he's been using for over 10 years.
Okay, I mean, silicone molds last that long.
Yeah, and they're probably silicone molds, but it's the material.
Well, it depends on what you're pouring into them.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, if you're just pouring plaster cast and stuff like that, even caster does warm up, but silicone is heat resistant. So.
Yeah, and I think that's what they showed is like you only pour in a plaster, which is fine. I mean, I don't think you really need to go crazy and use PVC or something. But anyway, they're not cheap, but it does look really cool. And if you have that kind of disposable income, by all means.
See, now I want to fly out. I'm sorry, I want to fly out to Ticonderoga, but I can't this weekend. I can't.
Yeah, Gen Con was a good show for its 50th year. There was some neat things. It's both bigger and smaller than it was.
See, I didn't realize it was in Indiana.
Yeah, you're not that far from it.
No, I'm not. I could have been there too.
You could have. Oh, actually, no, you couldn't have because the badges sold out fast.
That's true.
Origins is the one that's closest to you.
We got one coming up in Cleveland sometime in October or November. I can't
Origins.
remember. Is it Origins or is it Wizard World?
I'm pretty sure it's Origins, unless Origins got bought out. But as far as I'm aware, they're still called Origins. You know what's funny about that? Gen Con was created by TSR / Wizards of the Coast. Origins was created by Avalon Hill, and they became very competitive against each other for many years. Both TSR and Avalon Hill do not exist anymore, and yet their conventions continue.
The staying power.
In that.
Yeah, like I said, I got some card stuff and whatnot. Like I talked to the 501st. The 501st of Indiana is totally down to talk with us.
Cool.
And a few other like artists and such that have worked in the publishing world with D&D or with Wizards and other companies, so they can provide some insight into that side of things.
Did you meet Ian Mitchell Smith?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, the guy that co-starred in Weird Science now does tabletop stuff.
Dude, there's so many people. There's no chance in hell I could have found him unless I was specifically looking for him, and good luck with that, because as far as I'm aware, I don't think even Will Wheaton went, and he's a huge, tabletop nerd.
Wheaton!
He was there one year, and I tried to get a photo of him, but it's like, I think he sensed I was getting ready, because he vanished the moment it's like I turned around to set something down, and then I turned back, he's gone. It's like, what the hell, that son of a...
Elon Mitchell Smith actually has worked as a technical writer and editor for independent game producers.
Alistair, shut up.
my crusher senses are tingling. I need to get out of here.
Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley.
Actually, he doesn't appreciate people doing that anymore.
To this day, the best retort to that on Twitter was Patrick Stewart. Shut up, Will.
Nobody can use that anymore.
That was the best. Like, if anyone ever says "shut up, Wesley" to me, I'm blocking you. Blah blah blah. Shut up, Will.
That required a case of burn cream. It really did.
It did. That was perfect.
Yeah, I don't think he could have been argued that one. He's like,
no,
son of a. I opened that door.
and you know, Patrick Stewart's just sitting there going, "Hey, watch me."
So, Adam, is your life like a hurricane?
I will say I am pleasantly surprised by said hurricane. I watched the entire first episode and I was pleasantly surprised.
Awesome.
It was very well. I was believe me, I was a big DuckTales fan.
Donald is a main character.
Yes. And it was I went in there, I had the same, what's the word I'm looking for? Trepidation, as I did with the Looney Tunes show when they first brought that onto Cartoon Network a few years back, and I was like, "Oh, what are they going to do to my DuckTales? What are they going to do to DuckTales?" And then, just like the Looney Tunes show, they updated it. They gave it a nice spin, but it was still true to the original Looney Tunes. It was cool. They did the same thing with DuckTales, and Tennant is awesome. Uncle Scrooge does a really good job at the role, and I will be watching the series when it finally debuts in September.
Did everybody watch
Defenders? Did you notice that they?
Did I notice that they what?
Oh, I was going to say, did you notice that they mentioned Saint Canard in the first episode?
Well, it's because they're bringing Darkwing into it.
They also mentioned the town where Baloo and them are in Tailspin.
Did they? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, that's where they were going to take the boat.
Okay, isn't it like Cape Suzette or something?
Yeah, Cape Suzette.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, are we still live? What's going on? I don't see anything. I know YouTube is having issues. It's been
I'm still
cycling.
seeing something.
We're live on Twitch.
YouTube has been nothing but a spinning circle for me for the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, Twitch is
says
still
we're live. Maybe it's just my browser. My browser, I gotta stop using Firefox. It's a memory hog and it gets clogged down. And
anyway, we
Defenders.
can
Are you saying it's like
we can save our
sand?
discussion for Defenders for next week.
Yes, the Defenders, because I would like to rewatch it actually. That was like I binged that and it was done. I was like, I want more. I want more.
Yeah, they did really well. Oh,
They
and
did a
Firefly
really
says
good
apparently we're operational there.
Okay.
Or we're
It's all
operational
good.
here somewhere.
Well, we're gonna call it. I mean, we've been trying to do the shorter shows, so. But next week we will talk Defenders. Hopefully, Alistair may or may not be able to join us. Maybe we'll have to switch days so Alistair can join us.
Well, when you work part time, they're going to put you wherever, and so watch we move it, then that's when he gets
That's
signed
true.
up.
Okay. What else are we gonna talk about next week? I'm sure we'll get as Force. Was it? Force Friday is the 1st, right?
Yes.
Which will not happen until after our next show. So I'm sure after that there'll be a whole lot of Star Wars stuff to talk about. Because I know I will be there Force Friday. I will be buying Star Wars things like I did last year and the year before that. But
the thing we didn't talk about it, but we can talk about the Harmony Gold lawsuit stuff. Stupidity.
Yeah, we can talk about Dolph Lundgren preparing for his role in Creed and a few other things. Yeah, we didn't talk any Harmony Gold, did we?
No, that's pretty stupid.
No,
Yeah.
though apparently there's been something new regarding Harmony Gold, but that could be talked about next week.
Yes, it can. All right. And I think that'll be it. So, join us next week, same time, same channel. Both YouTube and Twitch. You can join us, or you can follow us on Twitter at Geek EZ. Facebook.com/The Geek EZ is where you'll find us there. That's our page. Give us a like there. Keep your eyeballs out for our website in the coming month or so, I would hope. And aside from that, the changes are happening to the Geek EZ slowly and surely. We got some big stuff coming up, some little stuff coming up, and something I really want to show everybody. I just can't because I'm not done.
But it's really fun. It's
all in due time.
Fun.
All in due time.
Explosion!
Explosion! Boom! Until then, we'll be back next week. Say goodnight, boys.
Good night, boys.
Good night, boys.
Or since this is our last call, but too late because I'm leaving. Doors are locking. We're out of here.
Wheel of Morale.
Thanks for joining us at the Geek EZ. We have some big changes coming down the road, but to find out about them, you have to hit that subscribe button. You could also follow us on Facebook and Twitter to find out what's new and what's coming down the road. So do us a favor, subscribe.